Hello, in this video we're going to take a quick look at how to change a point binding on a control based on a timer. Here in WebView you can see I've got a simple screen set up that has a trend control, it has a timer block, and it has a list box. And the idea is that we set up the timer and every 10 seconds it changes the point binding on this trend control to cycle through 3 point values that we've read into a list box. It's a very simple setup, so let me show you what I've done. My timer block, as you can see, is set up to use a count function with a minimum of 0 and a maximum of 2. And that's because I have 3 items in my list box that are in positions 0, 1, and 2. So I want to count from 0 to 2, starting at number 0, step up by 1, and the interval is every 10 seconds. So if we come and have a look at our outputs, we have a current value of just changed to 0, and every 10 seconds this will step up by 1, so it'll go to 1 the next time. There it goes. Then it'll go to 2, then it'll step back to 0. So this is just running on a cycle, and you can see that I've been running this for a while and we've gone through 70 iterations. So it's gone 0, 1, 2 and back to 0 70 times. And here we go, we'll see it go back to 0 in a second. There we go. Now over here my list box is configured to have a small script, and we've seen this before in other videos. Basically this script is calling a function which gets the names using a regular expression, and it's any data point that starts with data PID colon PID1 and then has 1, 2, 3 characters after that. So you can see this generated a list that was data PID PID1 .mv, .pv, and .sp. So this was a way for me to use a regular expression to create a list for my list box that had the points that I wanted. So if we look, one of the other things you'll notice that the selected index, which is this whichever one of these is selected, is joined by a simple binding to the current value of our timer block. So you can see that when we cycle through from 0, 1, and 2, we're actually changing the selected index of our list box. And we do that because what we've got connected to our list box is a script that is attached to the onSelectionChange callback. Now to make this a little easier to read, I'm just going to bring up the script in an editor. So this is the script we've got. It's very simple really. First we set a variable called PT and we get the currently selected value from our list box. So every time the list box changes or the selected value changes, this function will run and will copy the selected value from the list box. Then we use a switch function to compare. The first case is if the selected value is data PID PID1.mv. Then what we do is we get a reference to the pen1 value in our chart, and then we set the binding expression. We change it to be a point binding for our PT. So we take the name from the list box and we assign it as the binding expression for the pen1 value in the trend. Then we set the type again to be point value, to be a point binding, and then I do a couple of other things. I use a setP function to set the pen 1 color to orange, and I also set the chart title to read DataPID PID1 MV. And you can see that we basically use the same procedure for case 2, where we have PV and we change it to be green and bound to PV. And then for SP we do one other thing. We set the binding expression to SP, we change the color to blue, but we also change the pen is square property to true, and this gives us, as we can see here, gives us a square wave on our line. So we were able to change the color, change the line to square, and the title. And that's it. Basically, if I go into run mode, you'll see that I've actually hidden the timer block, and if you wanted to, you could also hide the list box. But one of the things you can do is, and you'll see that this ticks over on the timer. I can actually click to change it manually to go through like that. So basically this is going to switch to MV, but I can use the list box if I want to change the trend as well. So this is just a quick, simple way of using a couple of script functions to change the point binding on a control based on a timer block that we embed in our page. If you have any questions about this, or if you would like a copy of this page to investigate further, you can contact us at support@cogent.ca, and we'd be happy to help you.